Hello, I'm Jaydelnegro, and thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of The Next 40. This episode, I kind of get into wanting to give back and what that means to me. It's more of a involved thought process than you might believe or perceive up front. I believe it tends to lean in more towards the future than it does towards my current state. All in all, I think it's well worth a listen, and I'm glad you guys are here to tune in and see what's up. So, welcome to the Next 40, an introspective experience guided and advanced by my own retrospective musings and ideas. I'm Jaydelnegro, and I recognize that in order to get to where you need to get to, sometimes you have to look back on your journey along the way. Welcome to the Next 40. So my question is, what am I supposed to do more? What brings it up is driving, leaving a grocery store, frequent this area a lot. It's a pretty upper middle class, maybe not upper middle class, depends on how far you drive around in the neighborhood. Pretty middle class to upper middle class neighborhood. And something new just popped up, and it's not a store. It's not a store. It's not an apartment complex. It's not a space to be used however the community sees fit. I'm going to refer to them as gypsies, but they're probably not gypsies, so I'll correct myself if need be. But it's the women and families and children with signs saying they need help. But when I travel to different parts of this area, I see similar women with children and signs, and sometimes families, including the dads, in particular shopping centers holding up signs saying they need help. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to give them money because they say they need help? Or am I supposed to second guess and question whether or not this is a real thing? And it just got me to thinking about, when am I supposed to do more? I feel like I do a lot, and I also feel like I don't do enough. We've all been there before, right? You feel like you do a lot, but you don't feel like you do enough. I'm often perplexed when I see people out in public with signs saying they need help, because I question if they really need help. And these people that I'm speaking of specifically, I've had occurrences where I've seen them in different places requesting help. And I get it, they're moving and grooving, trying to actually get help. But I don't believe that the help that they're trying to get is the full extent of what they're actually doing. So again, I'm perplexed, and it leaves me in a place of what do I do? Do I do something? Do I not do something? Like, what's supposed to happen here? I don't know. I want to do something, but I don't think I want to do something for these people. Apparently on Reddit in the Central Maryland region, there is, in the Maryland forum, they talk about these people that rotate from location to location doing exactly that. Holding up signs saying, hey, help us. And on display, they have the full family out there with the kids and the stroller and the wife, who's sometimes all pregnant. Sometimes the husband's with them, sometimes they're not. But, to lean on your feelings and try to get you to give because this is a situation in which you could potentially understand and connect with because there's a family in need. I just don't trust that this is exactly what it is. And I know I'm not the only one. I've seen some people in some parts of town, and literally 30 miles away, I've seen those other people in other parts of town where they're holding the same signs, the same look, and it includes their Cash App. And in that part, it's just like, all right, people don't carry cash. The convenience of having Cash App so you can still give But the moving locations part, how did you get 30 miles away and you're with the other guy who was at the other place? It feels like a hustle and a scam, and I think I'm a bad person for thinking these things. I can't rightfully give money to someone holding a sign on a state-sponsored road, because I also know the rules of the state-sponsored roads are local police jurisdictions can't do anything with these people. They can only tell them to move. And the state troopers are not going to come to the state-sponsored road to arrest them for panhandling or whatever, because that's just like cruel and unusual. So these people just pick and pop to different spots where they know they can get away with it. I don't like it. I don't. I always feel like they're going to walk away and get in a used BMW and drive to their home and put the car in the garage, fix the kids' dinner, and go to bed. I don't feel like it's ever a struggle. I always feel like it's a hustle. And I don't want to feel that way. But maybe I'm soured on what life has shown me so far. This is beyond aspects of giving. This is holistically my how my life works. I do a lot, but I don't do enough. And I don't know if I'm selfish or if I'm just out to preserve myself more. And if that's selfish, in effect. Like I wholeheartedly believe that people are selfish by nature. Again, it's how you preserve your life. You don't get further as a singular animal by giving. Like, I get the sense of community. Like, I know that socially we need communities. But within those communities, people still fight for what little that's there. And this is an animal hierarchy. This is just the structure of life. Like, you start off wanting to preserve your damn self because you can't help anyone if you can't help yourself. Just like they say, in case of an emergency, if you're on an airplane, fix the oxygen mask for you before you go to help somebody else out. Because you got to get you straightened out before you get everybody else straightened out. And I think part of living in a society where things are more or less functional, you kind of forget about what's not in your purview, like what you can't see. You kind of forget about it until it's present before you. That's why you get the Shriners Hospital commercials in the middle of the night, or the help a pet in need for 75 cents a week. You can feed a litter of kittens and bunnies or whatever, however they market it. But what am I supposed to give? And I know this is more an internal thing because it's asking me to look at myself and then answer the question myself. What am I supposed to give? How am I supposed to give? How am I supposed to live? I know that there are religious books that speak to these things. I also know that there are people, organizations, LLCs even, that help with these sorts of things. But the question is really for me, like, what am I supposed to give? All right, so does anyone have any answers for me? What am I supposed to give? I think you can give me a bit of service by subscribing to the Next 40, leaving a comment, telling me what you think so far. But ultimately, introspection leads me to a point where I don't know what am I supposed to give. I don't have any answers. It stems from having a feeling that my enough isn't enough. And I want more purpose out of this human experience that I'm having right now. And I fully accept that me being sufficient for myself and only thinking of myself is also a part of the human experience. So I'm trying to balance and weigh where it is. Like, I think about these things. These aren't things that are completely out of the frame of mind because they're out of sight. It's because they're always constant reminders of, like, you can do more, you can do better. You can be a better version of yourself by giving more of yourself. But do I lose what I'm setting out to accomplish by giving more of myself? Because, like, the direction is going to change. Your pathways are going to go differently. You're not always going to be on this straight, narrow road that you might have planned out for yourself. Instead, you've veered off to the right, and now this is the branch, like a multiverse timeline or something like that. Not quite that science fiction-y, but it's still something that's there. Like, I don't want to lose my purpose in trying to fulfill a purpose that I never set out for myself. But am I really losing? Like, is this me not being me, or is this me discovering another aspect of me? Honestly, I believe it's discovery, but it is unnerving to step into a new place of discovery and unknown alone, and having to challenge yourself by facing what you don't know and you aren't consciously aware of. Like, that's really what this doing more is. Like, I'm not consciously aware of what the more is from me, but I do want to extend and provide me in different spaces. That actually sounds, what's the word I'm looking for? Stuck up. I'm not stuck up. I'm instead trying to figure out me and associate purpose with me. And I know I said I do a lot, and when I initially recorded it, I did a lot more than I'm doing now. But I guess I'm missing a place of fulfillment in certain areas, and part of that missing is like knowing that beyond this physical vessel that there is more, and there is more purpose, and I don't think I'm touching it. It's extended beyond like what I can see in my 2020 or 2010 vision. Like, this isn't hindsight speaking. This is forward thinking speaking, and trying to figure out the tomorrow by starting today and yesterday. Do I extend myself beyond where I'm already at? Because if I give anything more, is that really an extension? This is one of those questions where it's just like, there's no real answer. The only answer you can get is from the fulfillment you receive by doing more. In what areas can I do more? Because I already feel like I do a lot. But that's the selfish side of me. There's always room for more, right? There's always another part of you that you can reach out with to help and benefit someone else. What if the only someone else I think to benefit are like extensions of me, my family, my children, my friends, my loved ones? Like, do I still look beyond that? Is there fulfillment there for me in helping someone else? Of course there is. I'm not that selfish. I'm not. But the lady with the sign and the kid, 2 kids, it was one in the stroller, one older kid outside of the stroller. It just had me thinking and questioning, like, what am I supposed to do? Because I'm skeptical of this story. And I don't know if I believe what I see. Well, is being a skeptic healthy under the circumstances of trying to do more? I think that's a pretty fair and honest question. Is being a skeptic healthy in terms of trying to do more? Don't know. don't have a clue if it's healthy. It's a part of the process, though. You can't be willy-nilly about anything when it matters. You have to ask questions. You have to scrutinize. You have to see things beyond face value, especially if it's about attaining betterment, enlightenment in a place beyond where you currently are. Like, this particular topic is really about the future and what I can do to be a stronger, better, fuller Jaydelnegro. What's the more in store for me? I don't have answers. I know I want more, and to extend my more beyond this vessel. Like, I want it to be beneficial to others. Not saying I'm the greatest and I got all the answers or anything like that. I'm saying I want what is touching me to make sense when I'm trying to get that to touch someone else. Not in that way, but in that way, right? Like, there's no simple answer. I could give more. I could spend time at shelters. I could spend hours at a food bank. I could continue coaching youth. I could donate money to charities. I could do so many other things that give more of myself. And will that answer what's going on in here as a point and touch my heart? I don't know if that will. I want something that will. That something could be a person, a place, a thing. It could be absolutely creating something that extends where I'm currently at so that more get to process it and experience it. It could be evangelizing something that I believe is some plane of spiritual existence. It could be tons of different things. I just know I want more. I have to work toward being more, doing more, sharing more, experiencing more. And sometimes skepticism has to go to the wayside because that will keep me from having that more, right? I'm looking towards my next 40 by looking back at my previous 40 to help make sense of the direction I'd like my life to go into. And I think one part of that is extending myself, an extension of me and delivering more. If anybody has any ideas of where to start, who to start with, let me know. I'm all ears. I appreciate you taking your time out and listening with your ears. Welcome to the next 40.